Welcome to the Christian Life Coach Collective. I'm Laura Malone, and I help people just like you use your wisdom and your story to grow as coaches and entrepreneurs, because I believe you're called to create great impact and real income. So your next right step starts right here. Hey friends, I got my gloves on today because we still don't have heat in the house. And again, that fall spring really hit me hard. I'm doing my podcast on video right now because there's a bunch of episodes that I want to capture and be able to put into 2 or 3 places. So I am starting to do things on YouTube so that I can extract the content. The recording, I'll put it into MP3 form. That'll go into the podcast episode, and then I transcribe everything and I put it on the blog on my website. So I want to teach you this. This is part of how to do it, and it's a thing that I'm learning as I go about YouTube channels and so on and so forth. So if you watch the behind the scenes episode, the video that I just did on if I can do it, you can too. If I can start a coaching business, I talk about how I'm doing it, what it looks like in my actual home and office doing the work. This is as simple as it gets, and it is totally possible, and I want to teach you how. So the thing I want to talk about today is all of the clients that have come through that I've worked with, and they're worried that they're not ready to be a coach. They're worried they're not worthy of it. They're not ready, right? And ready is not a thing. There's always going to be something. But what people aren't ready for, what they're really struggling with, isn't a lack of information about coaching or anything else. They're struggling with fear. The fear, like, I'm not legitimate. I'm not perfect enough. I'm not enough of something. Or I don't have anything to offer in coaching, or I don't know what I would offer. Or if I'm more visible, if I put myself out there in a podcast or tell people I'm a coach or tell somebody to listen to my, watch my YouTube channel, I could fail at it. I could not be good at it. I could be rejected. I could have people complain. Yes, the answer is yes. So what? It's going to take you the opportunity to have the fear in front of you for you to ever get past the fear. You'll never overcome the fear if you never face it. But everything that is a struggle around all of this work, it kind of is just one variation or another of all 3 of these fears. And man, like, the enemy really loves to work on us about fear and scarcity and rejection. And he uses our own pride against us, right? The very thing he wants us to get into and swim in. So I want to answer some things that I have faced in coaching myself, some struggles and questions that my clients face, and I'm going to run through them. And I want to tell you that I'm going to ask the question or speak the struggle, and I'm going to give you a succinct answer, okay? Like, simple answer. And I want to challenge you to act as though the answer I give you is your new thought. It's it's a new truth. You get to decide to believe me. It's okay. I'm not saying that you have to believe everything that I say, but what if what I say is true and you acted like it? What would you do if I gave you the reason not to be afraid? If I told you the truth about the scarcity you feel? What would you do if I said rejection's okay to feel and there's a way through it, right? So if I'm going to ask the question, give you a simple answer, I'm going to share the struggle, I'm going to give you a simple solution. And what if you just accepted it instead of resisted it and thought about it like it's a new thought and it could be the truth? And let's just try it on like a new outfit. First off, it's all about identity and worthiness. And I say, like, you're 100% worthy right now of starting this work, investing into yourself, starting a business, becoming a coach, helping people, whatever. But you are somebody, when you ask yourself, who am I to do this? You're somebody who's lived life. You have learned a lot. and you're willing to guide other people through something you've been through or you understand, even if it's not 100% exactly what they've been through, you have gone through something and created results in your life somehow, some way that will put you 1 or 2 steps ahead of somebody else and you could help them. You cannot help everybody, but that's not the goal, right? There's somebody out there. There's lots of somebodies out there who can help you. Another question is, am I too late or too old to do this or to start something new? People start coaching in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s. I have somebody in their 70s, and I have somebody in their 20s. So you can do this now. You can do this later. Your life experience that you've already created in your life up to this point, it's an advantage right now. It's not a disadvantage. It's not a delay. You have more to give now than if you'd started 10 years ago. Next question, do you need a degree in anything? No. Do you need the most expensive certification or a bunch of certifications or anything like that to be a legitimate coach or start a business? The answer is no. Should you look for training? Yes, you should find somebody that you can get trained by that you trust and that you enjoy being taught by. But the certification is not the goal. The certification tells people that you went through the process, you tried to get trained and learn and grow in methodology and skill and ethics and responsibility. It just says to people that you put yourself into a position to be a student and learn and invest in yourself so that you can invest more in them. But the certification doesn't make you legitimate. You showing up and walking in what you're called to do, that is more legitimate as a foundation than a lot of the certifications that are out there. Because if they're not attached to training that does anything for you, then the piece of paper at the end doesn't matter. Training can help, but legitimacy, it comes from the transformation that you actually help people experience. So start coaching people and then you'll find out if you're legitimately a coach. Next question. What if I'm still not perfect and I still have my own issues? And I have clients that say, well, I don't know how I could be a health coach for people if I am not 100% healthy myself. What if I still struggle with this? What if I still have extra 10 pounds? What if I'm still struggling to not use food to buffer when I feel negative emotions, right? Well, you don't have to be this finished product. You don't have to be perfect. You just simply need to be honest about where you are and then willing to guide people through what you've already processed and where they're at. And it's okay for you to not know it all. You're not supposed to be an expert or a perfect some mannequin that's just already pre-cut and dressed and sitting in the window that people are supposed to say, wow, I want to be just like her. Nobody wants to be just like a mannequin. There's no life in it. There's no character. There's no nuance or dimension. And you being in process is what makes you more relatable to somebody, not you being perfect. If they want somebody to be perfect, they'll go find AI to tell them exactly who they should be and how to be that. Don't do that. So the struggles that you have, that you've walked through, are going to be really valuable. And that's why you don't want to be too early in starting anything. It's why you don't have to wait for perfection. It's because your life experience is valuable to other people. And whatever you've walked yourself through or you're walking yourself through right now is usually the exact type of problem or situation that other people are facing, and they would love to know that you're really close to the struggle versus I've been on the other side of that for so long. It would be like me telling you, I know exactly what it is to raise a toddler today. I'm raising 17, 18 and up today in this culture with these devices, but I don't know exactly what it's like to be a woman, let's say, addicted to social media and scrolling while I have a 6-month-old and a 2-year-old. I don't know what that's like because when I had children that age, we didn't have that. crazy, but we didn't. So that's okay. I could still coach a mom who's facing that exact thing right now and wondering, how do I get free? How do I face my emotions? How do I be more present for my family and get off of my phone? But I don't need to have exactly the same experience that she's had, but I can help her. Next question, why would somebody listen to me? Little old me, right? Me who doesn't have a big platform, et cetera, et cetera. Well, it's because somebody is going to resonate with who you are, your story, your personality, how you show up, the way you think, the way you teach, the way you coach. And yeah, that makes it really valuable, makes you valuable to exactly the person who wants that. And if you're not an expert, you might be asking the question, how am I qualified to show up, create content, offer coaching, act like I know something about anything, even if it's just asking great questions? But coaching isn't about knowing everything. It's about helping people think clearly, get clarity, and moving forward with a strategy that resonates for them, not a clarity and strategy about your life, but it's about them. You're holding space and creating opportunity for them to figure that out. And you might have some input, right? What if I don't know enough yet? You don't need more information. You're the only one to know more. Sorry, let me back that up. You only need to know, I'm using the word only in the wrong place. You only need to know just a little bit more than the person that you're helping in a specific area. So I can help somebody start a coaching business, but I can also help somebody start a soap making business or art business on Etsy or a brick and mortar business or a restaurant, because there's a lot of things I know about starting a business, what it's going to require of you. I can help you with your mindset, but I don't have to be somebody who's actually built a building and put a restaurant inside of it to be able to help them. So some scriptures about these questions and struggles are Ephesians 2:10, for we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared for beforehand that we should walk in them, right? And Psalm 139:14 says, I praise you for I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And 1 Peter 2:9, you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. So these all speak to your worth, your design, your purpose. 100% of it is valuable right now. You're not random. You're not spontaneous. You're not late. You're not disqualified. You're not lacking. You were made on purpose for good works, and coaching is a great vehicle for those good works to be released into the world. Comparison and credibility are another big category of struggle for coaches. Like, I hear more, not really so much from my clients, but I do hear and other podcasters and blogs and so forth that the industry is saturated. And I just completely don't believe that. And I've heard a lot of other coaches say that. No, that's not true either. But if you have this tendency to think like, I keep seeing so many coaches online, there's so many coaches, what could I bring to the table? What do I add? Well, you're talking about coaching. So your phone is hearing you talk about coaching. So you're seeing a lot about coaching, but there's, 95% of the world is not getting that. They're not talking about coaching. So they're not getting ads to talk about coaching. So it looks like the industry might be saturated to you. But then one of the other big questions is, well, I've never heard of a coach. What the heck is a life coach? Why would a life coach help me? How could they help me? What do I need them for? So if there's still people asking what a life coach could be, or any type of coach in a certain niche under that umbrella of life coach instead of sports coaching, then if there's still people asking what a coach is, then there's still people who need a coach, I promise. But your life experience and perspective, your personality, they've never existed in the container you carry them all in before ever in the world. You are specifically put here for such a time as this, and there's people who need you. You might think that other coaches look more polished or successful, and here's the truth. Yes, There are other coaches who are more polished and more successful, more professional than you. And then there's some that are less so. And there always will be. Who cares? You are always going to be at the beginning of something if you try. And there's always going to be people who are ahead of you and people behind you. So what? Right? You're seeing the current chapter that they're living in. You're not seeing all of the years and hard work that it took to get them there that you're in the middle of. That's okay. Have grace for yourself. And then there's the big, I'm not a social media guru, but a lot of people start out thinking you have to have social media to be able to start a business and do anything and get a following. And while it's great, it can be free marketing. I always say use free marketing before you ever pay. Don't ever pay for things you don't have clients to help pay for. So if you don't have a following on social media and you wonder how anybody will find you, I want you to remind you that everybody starts at zero. Everybody starts with crickets. It's normal. It's okay. You can figure it out and you can handle the hard feelings that come with it, the negative feelings. You can overcome them. Coach yourself through them. Negative feelings happen. Life is great and terrible. Crickets happen, right? And then what if somebody asks me something I don't know? The coach's answer is, that's a great question. Let's explore it together. Let me figure it out. I can get back to you. What do you think the answer is? You're not supposed to be the know-it-all. Nobody wants that. So if you don't know the answer, it's not a problem. It's an opportunity for you and your client to learn together and for you to show humility. What if people think I'm pretending to be something I'm not? That whole imposter syndrome thing. Be authentically you. That actually eliminates the whole problem. You be you right now. And as you grow, you keep changing and pivoting and evolving and be the next version of you. Don't worry about them. They're not worried about you. They're worried about themselves. And when they see you changing or they see you showing up more fully in your life, it's not that they think you're pretending. They're actually wondering about themselves. They're getting concerned about them. They're in their head about themselves. They're not really thinking about you. There's comparison and there's a fear of lack and scarcity. And what if I'm not enough now? If she's going after that, what if it's about, what does that say about me? That's usually what people are considering. Galatians 6:4-5 says, let each one test his own work, and then his reason to boast will be in himself alone and not in his neighbor. For each will have to bear his own load. And 2 Corinthians 10:12, when they measure themselves by themselves and compare themselves with themselves, they are not wise. Romans 12:6 says we have different gifts according to the grace given to each of us. So all of this is about comparison, but your work is not validated by being more polished than somebody else, by being better than the you that you actually are. You're just responsible for your own assignment right now in this moment. What is your calling? Steward it well. Keep your eyes focused on Jesus and not other people. Then we have the fear of exposure and failure. What if people see me? What if I'm visible? What if people judge me for calling myself a coach? And what happens? They're going to judge you if you don't call yourself a coach. They're going to judge you. If they're going to judge, they're going to find something to judge. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. And it doesn't matter how much you work to be unjudgeable. People are going to judge. And other people are going to feel relieved that you said you're a coach. Think about them. Don't worry about the people who don't want you to be a coach, don't care about you being a coach, don't understand you being a coach. Think about the people who do. What if my family doesn't take it seriously? What if they laugh at me or think it's dumb or don't get it or resist me? Well, they're probably not going to understand it yet. You know why? Because it's not their passion and it's not their calling. Understanding is going to come after you have created results in your coaching and in your business, and that's okay for that just to take time. Give yourself grace here, okay? What if people question people from my past question my credibility? What's the scripture? Prophet's not honored in his hometown. It's just the reality. I have lost friends as I have stepped into coaching and built my business and become somebody new because I manage my own thoughts. I coach myself. I'm a product of my coaching. I have healthier emotional responses. I face things. I take different actions. I have different results in my life. And there are people who didn't want to go with me, that weren't ready to make those changes and have that transformation in their lives. And they wish that I had just stayed with them where it was hard. And I didn't. And I have lost friends. And I pray for them. And I don't take it personally because, again, it wasn't about me. It was about them. So the people who need you are not usually the people who knew you in the past. It's not really your friends and your family and your church and the people you work with from today or 10 years ago who want you to be their coach. You just have different hats. Today, you have a friend hat and a mom hat or a brother hat or a boss hat at work or a coworker hat. And it's okay. When you go build your business and you are a coach, that's just different. You are acting like a coach. So you're being a coach to people who want you to be their coach. You're being a coach to clients. You are not the coach to your coworker. And you're a business owner who blesses and creates value for people who buy things from your business or from your ministry. The right people are the ones who want what you offer. We're not talking about your coworkers or your grown children or your husband. That's literally not who we're talking about. So think about when you're asking these questions and having these struggles, who are you thinking about? Are you trying to have authority and credibility with your family in a role they don't need you to operate in? Or like friends from high school or the last neighborhood you lived in. They're not asking you to be their coach, so you don't need to prove anything to them about it, right? And then the fear of failing publicly, first of all, if you don't have a large following already, that is so far away. Like, it's not even a bridge you need to build yet. You're not anywhere near crossing it. If you're just starting out, then you don't have enough people like to really fail in front of that it's going to be that big of a deal. So failure is actually good information that you can learn from, and it's going to help you grow. I know it sounds crazy, but failure is the best teacher. So Joshua 1:9, you've probably heard this so many times, but have I not commanded you to be strong and courageous? Don't be frightened. Don't be dismayed. The Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And something that I held on to, I had a miscarriage years ago, and the Lord just so spoke to me in the middle of the Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, I am with you. Do not be dismayed. I am your God. I carry that into every situation where I feel like a little bit afraid or a lot bit afraid. Just hold on to the Lord. Psalm 56:3-4. When I'm afraid, I put my trust in you, right? So show up regardless of fear, judgment, risk of failure, people's opinions, their competition, their comparison. Remember, courage is in the absence of fear. It's being obedient in the middle of being afraid. And then the Lord said 365 times, don't be afraid. Not because he's shaming you that you have fear. He's just saying, and now let's remember, I am with you, Emmanuel. And fear has no place in the midst of perfect love. And I am perfect love, he says. So go be with him and you don't have to fear. Like, the fear will dissipate. The next area is experience and value. And asking the question, like, is my story valuable to anybody who wants to hear it, right? Well, your story becomes valuable by learning how to extract lessons and create frameworks from your story. Simple as that. Totally possible. It's what I love doing in my coaching. And then the question, do people really pay for this? Yes, they do. It's why I can sit here today and on a content creation day, and I don't have any clients today because I have clients other days who pay me, and then I get to do this. And so what they're paying me is actually helping to pay for me to take time to create this content, to create the podcast, and to write emails and encourage my coaches. Like, it is possible. It does happen. I'm proof that it's happening. Am I a millionaire? I'm not. But I also run a missions organization and I have a family and I don't have this big team running everything for me. And I don't run paid ads and I don't do all of the things that you're going to see a lot of coaches are doing with really big businesses. If you look at them way down the road in their business, or somehow made a bunch of money and put it all into building a team immediately. And now all of that team is doing the work for them. For people like you and me that are like the solopreneur, coachpreneur, mompreneur people, I love doing everything that I do. I could use some help probably in some areas and whatever, maybe one day I will. But right now, I am investing in myself as a coach and a business owner. And I have people investing in me and in themselves by hiring me to be their coach. And I'm really satisfied. But the fact that I can sit here in my gloves and without any heat and my really cozy blanket in my lovely home office, and I can go out and make myself a cup of tea and I work for myself. I love it. I get to do what I want to do and show up just as exactly who I am. And the people who want me to be their coach, they hire me. And the people who don't, they don't. And that works out for both of us. So, the next thing would be asking the question, what would I even help people with? And usually I would say the answer is that whatever you've spent years of your life learning, building, rebuilding, navigating, overcoming, creating, all of those things, you can help people do that. You can get certified to, get trained and certified to walk out multiple types of methods, coaching methods, and work with different niches, different groups of people who have specific kinds of problems. You can do that. I recommend that you do it from a place of, I understand this. I've already done some of this in my life, and I want to help other people do it. And then the question of how do I turn life experience into something structured is you just need to identify the patterns, the lessons and steps that you used yourself to move forward. So I look back, I can help people start a coaching business because I can look back and see the patterns of my thinking and emotions and my actions. I can create lessons around all of those things. And then I can break it down into steps and sub-steps so that I can teach people and understand right where they're at, the kinds of struggles they're facing, the kinds of decisions they have to make. How do we extract wisdom and clarity so we make the best decisions? I just look at what I've already done and how I can help other people do the same thing. And it means that, one, I have a coaching method called the Pearl Practice that I help people walk through, that I walk myself through on a constant basis because I'm always wanting to renew my mind. That helps renew my emotions, heal my heart, and then helps me take action that is right action, that's in alignment with the will of God and also the purpose and calling on my life. And then I can break all of that down into steps, but I can also extract like the identity, purpose, and belonging in other people and help them build the way they're called to build, not do exactly what I said to do, right? So 2 Corinthians 1:3-4 says, "Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies, God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our affliction, so we may be able to comfort those who are in any affliction." I love that. He comforted me, now I get to comfort others. In Romans 8:28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him." In 2 Timothy 2:2, "And the things you've heard me say, entrust to reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others. This speaks to your story having value." What God has comforted, taught, and strengthened in you can become the way that you guide and help other people. So there's also the internal conflict. I feel drawn to this, but I'm not confident. Remember that confidence grows from taking action, not you show up, you're willing to show up and try, and then you take action in that trying, and then you get clarity, right? So that just show up, just try something, You'll learn something, you have clarity about something, then you have the hindsight about how you did it, what worked and what didn't. And then that develops more emotion of feeling ready and certain and competent. And then if you're thinking, I want to help people, but I don't like self-promoting, don't look at it as self-promotion. That's completely, there's the egotistical self-promotion I know that you're trying to avoid. But offering help is actually service. You're creating value and then offering it to people when you do it honestly, authentically, and with a heart to serve. If you're thinking, I want to make an impact, but I don't really want to have to build a whole brand. Well, you are the brand, love. Like your voice, your story, your message, your offer that comes from your heart, that is the brand. You don't actually have to work that hard to do it. So I know it sounds like it feels like it, but it's not true. And then if you're thinking, I want to earn income, but I don't want to corrupt my calling. Money allows you to do work sustainably, effectively, do more of it. You're either going to have to go somewhere else and earn money at a different job and do less of the thing you're called to do. Or you do more of this getting paid to do it, so you get to do it better, you get to do it more, it's scalable and sustainable. And if your heart is worried that you're going to be corrupt, that you're going to have a love of money, listen, money is an idol whether you have it or not. Money, the love of money is the root of all evil, the Bible says. It's the love of money. And when you don't have money, you're still thinking about money because it's not having money that is the root of all evil. It's the love of money. It means letting money, or the lack of it, or the having it, or the getting of it, when it gets to sit on the throne of your heart instead of Jesus, that's going to corrupt any calling. It doesn't matter whether money is involved or not, whether you have it or whether you don't. And a lot of times when we don't have something, the lack of that something leads to the love and the fear of it, which causes it to be an idol. And that's going to corrupt a calling from moment one. So 2 Timothy 1:7 says that God didn't give us a spirit of fear. He gave us a spirit of power, love, and self-control, or a sound mind. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And Hebrews 10:36 says that you need to persevere so that when you've done the will of God, you'll receive what he has promised. So we're talking about the inner tension between desire and hesitation and resistance and worry. So you might feel afraid, but fear is not the thing meant to lead you. And you might be thinking, like, if this is a calling, wouldn't I have heard God confirm it to me more clearly, like the audible voice of God? But I think that God really often confirms calling through desire, opportunity, and obedience over time. And then if you're thinking it's selfish to charge people money to help them, then I challenge you to go out and not pay anyone to help you. Do not buy laundry soap. Figure it out. Like, what? You're paying people all the time to help you. You pay them to create products that you use that make your life easier, healthier, all of the things. So if they're not selfish for creating laundry soap for you that you pay for, then what is the problem with you charging money to help them? Right? And then if you're saying, how do I know if it's God or me? I encourage you to walk forward, be prayerful, keep your eyes on the Lord, and just watch for alignment and good fruit to grow along the path as you're going. If you are worried, and I know this is a recent one that a client had, what if I step out and then I find out it wasn't God? God did not want me to be a coach. God didn't want me to start a business. What about? Man, I just put your foot on the gas and act like you have a green light. Jesus is in the car with you. Don't be so worried about making a mistake. He is a good dad. He is not, unless you are outrightly rebelling against something he has told you to do or not do, then God is so willing and capable to give you direction and redirection. But redirection can only happen if you're moving in a direction. Like, it's the action that's going to bring the clarity. So I encourage you to just walk in peace and see if peace develops or peace disappears. So if you step out and you try, good job. At least you stepped out and tried, and you will learn something, and God will show up for you. And if he wants to, he'll redirect you. But it's different than like, gosh, I was so sinful. I separated myself from God by starting a coaching business where I could love on people, bring the kingdom, and help them get transformation and renew their mind so that they can be more like Jesus, like be closer to God. If he wants to redirect you, he will. So Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him. He will make your path straight. Okay? The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him. Psalm 37, 23. And then Isaiah 30, 21. Whether you turn to the right or the left, your ears are going to hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. So we're talking about discernment and calling and next steps, and you might not get a whole plan laid out in front of you at once. You know, the book of Laura does not magically appear inside the Bible, thank goodness. You don't need that. You can trust God as you move. So if you're thinking, I'm already busy, do I have time for this? Coaching businesses, they usually start small and grow gradually. And so yes, you do. And if you don't think you have the energy to build something new, just trust that you can build this as slowly or as quickly as the pace of your life needs it to. And the business skills, if you're worried about the business side of a coaching business, don't worry about it. They're learnable. I would love to teach you how to do it very simply, very affordably, and keep it really streamlined. And Zechariah 4:10 says that for whoever has despised the day of small things shall rejoice. Ecclesiastes 3:1, there's a time for everything, season for every activity under heavens. And Isaiah 40:29, he gives strength to the weary, increases the power of the weak. I want you to be encouraged by the things that the Lord wants to teach you, wants to grow you in, and not worry that your life and your capacity in this season are going to be sabotaged or that they're going to keep you from being successful. It's okay. If you're worried that maybe you're having like these belief patterns that you have to be fully healed first, healing and helping, a lot of times they happen at the same time. If you think you need to know everything before starting, well, the key is you learn by doing. You're going to have the highest learning curve, best learning curve, if you go and do something. If you think I need permission, well, you don't. And if you want it, I'll give it to you. You have permission to be a coach, to start a business, to go create an income and an impact in the world around you. You can just decide to begin. You have the power and the authority within you to decide now, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try. I'm going to start. If you think I need certainty before I can take action, meaningful things begin with courage, not certainty. Ask anybody who developed or invented anything incredible. They had courage, they had confidence to show up, be willing to show up and try. They didn't start with certainty. And if they had certainty, it was probably in the Lord. So James 1:22 says to be a doer of the word, not a hearer only, deceiving yourself. And Matthew 7:7, ask and it'll be given to you, seek you'll find, knock and the door will be opened. And Luke 16:10, whoever can be trusted with little can also be trusted with much. So we're talking about the lies that you need more time, more certainty, more knowledge before you do anything. Take any action, take one step. Growth comes from doing, not just thinking. Okay? So the real barrier for most coaches is not skill, knowledge, opportunity. I need more information. It's all of these beliefs that they're not legitimate, they're not ready, they're not capable. And those beliefs will change when you start showing up and serving people. You will see such a massive shift in your own mind. Your paradigm will change. Your emotions about it all will change. And then you'll show up more often. So I want you to think about these things. You are 100% worthy right now. Your core worth, your inherent value is not earned, can't be removed, comes from being created in God's image. Your worth isn't determined by your success, mistakes, experience, credentials, certifications, testimonials, okay? 100% worthy right now, God says. And your calling, the sense that you're invited to participate in something really meaningful in the world. And your calling shows up as like this very persistent, if not passionate desire to help and guide and serve and get curious with other people in a particular way through coaching. Courage, the willingness to act, even when you're afraid. Courage is what will help move you forward when you aren't feeling fully ready yet. That's okay. Because when you don't have the certainty and I'm completely competent, it's okay, because if you have courage, it's going to help move you forward. And your capacity, you have this internal ability to hold responsibility and thoughts and beliefs and emotions and growth and stretching and leadership all at the same time. And your capacity will grow as you stretch into new experiences, like the Lord will enlarge the place of your tent, right? It's awesome. It's amazing. Yes, it can hurt. It can be scary and still possible and overcomable, and it will build you in character. The confidence, the willingness to show up and try. It doesn't show up first in a full formation. It's not a fully grown. Confidence is a cycle of if your confidence of just be willing to show up and try regardless of what the outcome is and how you feel about it, it creates the reason to take small action steps, which create clarity. And that clarity gives you hindsight and how I did this and what did it look like and what worked and what didn't. And that is going to evoke more emotion of feeling more ready, more competent, more certain. That will let you grow in confidence. And now you even have a greater willingness to show up and try. Okay? Then your character, your integrity, maturity, it determines how you use your influence and your responsibility and show up in this. Credibility is the trust other people place in you because of your character, because of your experience, because of your consistent showing up to life and business. So your core worth is your foundation. Your calling, it invites you to go forward. Your courage gets you started. The capacity expands as you go and as you grow. Capability develops through your practice, showing up and doing. Confidence builds through action taking. Character sustains the work, and credibility will grow over time. So this is my answer to all of these questions and struggles that over time clients and myself have faced, and I've collected them all. I know it was a lot of information, but my goal was that I could put all of these questions and struggles in front of you and give you just a little snippet of a piece of truth. And I want you to, whatever stands out for you, that this is a big question in my mind or a really hard struggle for me to get over, I just want you to go back to it and think, okay, what did Laura say? I'm going to try it on. I'm going to act like what Laura said is the truth. I'm not saying I'm the expert. I'm not saying it is the end all truth. I'm starting to get warm. I don't think the heat's working yet, but my hands are not icicles anymore. I just want you to try them on like you're going shopping and you're like, I've never worn that color. I don't know, but I'll try it on. I want a skirt, but I don't know. That's a little shorter or longer than I'm comfortable with. Try it on. You might be surprised once you try on a new thought and you intentionally develop that thought into a belief system over time. It might serve you really well. So, bless you, friend. I encourage you to trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Don't lean on your understanding or mine. Take it to the Lord, because all things are possible. Everything is figure-outable, and it does take a village. So here we are. This is the address to the village. Have a good day. Okay, if you are ready to turn your story and wisdom into impact and income, go to sterlingandstonementoring.com and let's get started together.